Thank you very much for enrolling in your New York dealer training course at dealercourse.com. In the first unit of the course, I want to give you some contact information and cover every single startup step that you need to complete in order to obtain your New York dealer's license. First of all, I want to give you some contact information with the state. The New York State DMV Bureau of Consumer and Facility Services is the state division that regulates New York dealer licensing. And they're at P.O. Box 2700 in Albany, of course, 122-00700. Or you can call the DMV directly at 518-474-0919. Once again, 518-474-0919. And then you see their website right there on the screen. We'll be jumping on that website a couple of times during your course to show you exactly how to apply for your license. So in order to obtain your license, there's a couple of things you're going to need to do before you apply. You're going to need to have a location with a display area. You will need to obtain a federal tax ID number and a New York tax ID number. You're going to need to register with the Division of Corporations or possibly the county that you're in, and we'll discuss that in just a few moments. You will need to get a dealer surety bond and purchase a New York dealer starter kit. Then you will need to complete the application documents, and I'm going to cover that entire process right now. First, I want to cover your location requirements. Your location must be zoned for a dealer's license. So you can call your city hall or your county courthouse. Usually you can ask for the zoning office, let them know the address of the location that you'd like to have your license at. They'll look up zoning and they'll tell you either yes, you can have a dealer license at that location, or no, you cannot. So state law is very clear. Your location must be zoned for a dealer's license. You will need to have heat, electricity, a desk, and some type of phone. A cell phone is allowed. You must have an exclusive mailing address, and retail dealers must have display space for 3 or more vehicles, and wholesale dealers are actually exempt from that requirement. The display lot must be the same address as the building, and your location must be physically separated from other businesses. You will keep your records at the building. So the state doesn't want you taking records home at night. They want to make sure that you leave your records right there at that location. All sales activity must take place at the location or at the home or business of the customer. You're also going to need a permanently mounted dealer sign, which I'm going to show you here in just a moment. Now, the official dealer sign must have red background and white lettering, and it must measure at least 2 feet wide by 2 feet tall. It must be permanently mounted and visible at all times from the nearest street or highway, and it must display the registered facility number, New York State Motor Vehicle Dealer, in 2-inch block lettering. And here you see a sample of your official dealer sign. And I'm going to show you how to order your official dealer sign here in just a few moments. This is a sign that must be displayed on your license location. Employer ID number. I'm going to make a very confident prediction here. I predict that your income is going to rise dramatically when you obtain your New York dealer license. And with that income increase, you are going to need to pay a little more taxes at tax time next year. Well, that's a good problem because that means you have been making some money. To show the state that you are, in fact, going to pay your taxes on your newfound income, they require you obtain an employer identification number, and this is the number that's used by the IRS to identify your dealership, and it will be required for almost every single dealer. There's a couple of small variations to that, but just expect to get your EIN. Now, there are customers that I have talked to that have actually paid $600 to $700 for a company to get their EIN for them, and I'm going to show you how to get it free right now. There's no charge to get an EIN. You can jump right on the IRS website, or you can even do it over the phone if you're more comfortable with that. You can call 800-829-4933 and get your EIN over the phone. But if you want to avoid that step, I want to show you how to get your EIN right on the IRS website. So you can easily go to irs.gov. On the homepage, scroll down to where it says Employer Identification Number. They're going to give you a real quick review of the EIN. You're just going to click Begin Application, and you'll need to choose your entity. And we're going to talk about business entities later on in your dealer training course extensively, so hopefully I'll be able to help you decide on which business entity is best for you. So for this training scenario, I'm going to show you how to register your new business with the IRS as an LLC. I'm not telling you need to be an LLC, but if you are an LLC, then obviously you'll check LLC. And later on in the course, we have a very, very extensive training module that really clarifies the differences between these different business entities. So later on in the course, I think you'll be able to decide which entity is best for you. So let's say you're an LLC, you would click LLC, excuse me, and then you're going to click New York, and you'll put the number of persons on your license. Then the IRS wants to know why you need an EIN, because you are starting a new business. So you'll click that little link right there. You'll need to put the name of one person on the license along with one social security number. And you need to select that you're one of the owners. Then you're going to put the official address of your location, as you see right here. Click continue. You're going to put your dealership name, the county that your dealership is in. Obviously, you're in the state of New York. And then you'll also choose what state you live in. So if you live in New York, and obviously your dealer license is in New York, you'll select New York twice and the approximate start date. And then click continue. And bam, you have an employer identification number. So this screen's going to pop up. This document will pop up on your screen. At the very top right there, you're going to see your new employer identification number. So you want to register that. And this is going to be placed on your dealer license application, which I'm going to show you here in just a little bit. And this will show the state of New York that you are going to pay federal taxes on your newfound income. So please do keep that in mind. Excuse me. If you have other questions, you can call the IRS directly at 800-829-4933. And remember, you can go to irs.gov. There are companies that will charge you several hundreds of dollars to show you what I just showed you for free. So hopefully you've already made the money back on your investment in the course if you do decide to invest in the course. You'll also need a New York tax ID number. So I want to give you some contact information first before I show you how to get this tax ID number. If you ever have questions about your tax ID number, you can contact the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance, and that's going to be 518-485-2889, and that website of theirs is tax.ny.gov. So when you go to tax.ny.gov to create this mandatory state tax ID number, you're going to click on Create Account, like you see right here. Then you're going to scroll down and you're going to create a business account. You will need to enter a security code that shows that you're not some type of internet robot that's stealing passwords and things like that. Then it is very, very important to click that you would like to gain access to all available services from the drop-down box. Next, you must enter your federal employment identification number. So chronologically, you must get your federal employment identification number from the IRS, like I showed you a moment ago, before you can get your New York State tax number, as you see here. So you cannot get your tax number until you have your federal employment number from the IRS. So chronologically, get the EIN. Now you're going to enter your EIN right here, along with the legal name of your business. You're going to enter your business address, and you must agree that everything is correct. You'll enter your name, your email, and your phone number, and then you are going to create a username and password. And once you complete the steps that I just showed you, your New York sales tax certificate is just going to pop up on screen automatically, and this will allow you to charge sales tax when you're selling a motor vehicle. And I'm going to cover that process extensively later in your dealer training course. If you've never charged sales tax as a business owner, it is very, very easy, and we're going to boot up a program called Verify. And I'm going to show you extensively how to use that program later on in your dealer training course. So you're just going to boot in the price of the vehicle and the VIN, and Verify will do everything for you automatically. But I'm going to cover that for you extensively later on in your New York dealer training course. Now you can contact the State Department of Taxation and Finance once again. If you have any questions, 518-485-2889. Now, I want you to be aware, I have contacted all types of state agencies, and usually you'll wait on hold, sometimes for 30 or 45 minutes. But when you have questions about state taxation, they usually answer this phone number on the first ring. So that's regards revenue for the state. So they keep that phone number staffed very well. And remember, you can get your tax ID number at tax.ny.gov. You are going to need to provide what is known as proof of your business name. You're going to need to either file your business name with the corporations division or the county that your dealership is located in. Now, before I show you how to do this, state law is very clear. New York does not allow the word broker in your dealership name unless you're an approved auto or yacht broker. So you can't just say New York broker. I mean, you have to be an approved auto or yacht broker, and I don't think that's going to apply to you, but I'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Now, if you're a corporation or an LLC, you need to register with the New York Division of Corporations. If you're a partnership or an individual, you're going to need to submit what's called a business certificate of assumed name with the county that your dealership is located in. Very important distinctions here. I want to make sure that you're very clear on this. If your dealership is going to be operated as a corporation or an LLC, you must register with the New York Division of Corporations. If you're going to run your new dealership as a partnership or an individual, then you need to submit your business certificate of assumed name with the county that your dealership is located in. So I want to show you both of these processes right now. If you're a corporation or an LLC, you're going to register with the New York Division of Corporations, and I want to give you their contact information before I show you how to do this. Their email is help@dos.ny.gov, and you can call them at 518-474-4429. If you have any type of questions whatsoever, they are a wealth of information, even if you have any questions about business entities. But like I said, later on in your course, I've got a very extensive training video that shows you the differences between a corporation, LLC, partnership, non-for-profit, individual, things like that. It's very extensive, and we'll cover that later on in your dealer training course. So if you're a corporation or an LLC, you're going to go to dos.ny.gov, as you see right here. And this is so easy. The Division of Corporations website is very user-friendly. So you're just going to scroll through here, and on top of there, you're going to click on licensing and businesses, click on form a corporation or a business, and this very, very easy to use system is going to walk you through the whole process here. So you're going to click business corporation certificate of incorporation, as you see right here, and you'll easily be able to do that online by clicking file certificate of incorporation, like you see right here. And then you're going to land on your state online filing system. You're going to apply as an owner. It's very important that on this particular time you apply as an owner. So nobody's doing this for you. You're going to be doing it yourself as the owner of the business. And they want to know if you have a New York government ID, which I'm assuming that you are. If you've got a New York driver's license or any type of New York photograph ID, you're going to click on the I have a New York.gov ID. And now you're going to enter all of your contact information, including your business entity, your dealership name. You're then going to select code 44120. Now, you don't have to memorize this, but when you get the opportunity to select your NAICS code, you're going to click retail trade, and that you're going to be a used car dealer. So our NAICS code is 441120. You don't have to memorize that, but you can, and it makes it a little bit easier. But if you don't, just select under the retail drop-down box that you're going to be a used car dealer. That's technically the name. No matter what you're selling, no matter what used motor vehicle you're selling, technically you're going to be a used car dealer. So select that. That has to be accurate, okay? So this ensures that when you're collecting sales tax that it's going to the right department and things like that. So then you will enter your email address and verify your office address. You'll need to do what we call create a registered agent. Now, a registered agent basically is the principal of this business that is in the state of New York. Now, if you live in the state of New York, then you can be your own registered agent. But if you're in another state and you're opening a New York dealership, then you will have to have a registered agent in the state of New York. Okay, so please keep that in mind. So you're going to select what's called your registered agent, as you see right here. Once again, you're going to verify all those addresses. And then finally, here you see your corporation's filing document, which is going to serve as proof of your business name. And this is going to pop up on your screen automatically. So this will show that if you are a corporation or an LLC, that you have officially filed that name with the Division of Corporations. If you have any questions, you can contact them directly, help@dos.ny.gov. Call them at 518-474-4429. Now remember, that's the process if you're a corporation or an LLC. If you are going to open your new business as a partnership or an individual, then you must file a business certificate of assumed name, which we sometimes refer to as your DBA. And that must be filed in the county in which your dealership is located. Here's that form you can use to file with your county if you are a partnership or an individual, as you can see right here, okay? And it is a 2-page document. You can download this form at dos.ny.gov, complete it, and then make sure and file it with your county. So just walk into your county, and I'm sure they'll be very, very helpful. But that is that document right here that needs to be filed with your county if you are an individual or a partnership, and you should be able to file that online as well. But if not, you will need to visit your county courthouse or file it in person. But you must make that visit and contact them via phone or email before you go to your courthouse, because I do believe you'll be able to upload that document through your county website. Next, you're going to have a dealer surety bond. And a dealer surety bond will basically ensure that you are going to run your new business ethically and with the highest level of integrity. So there's a couple of different levels of dealer surety bonds that I want you to be aware of that might qualify for you. First of all, it's a $20,000 dealer surety bond for retail and wholesale dealers selling 50 or less vehicles per year. And it's a $100,000 for retail or wholesale dealers that are selling more than50 vehicles per year. So, if you are a dealer just selling trailers or motorcycles, vehicles over 10,000 pounds, ATVs, boats, snowmobiles, or other vehicles, then you would be exempt from the bond requirements. I want to go over that one time real quickly for you. If you are selling 50 or less vehicles per year, you can get a $20,000 bond. If you are selling more than 50 vehicles a year, you will need to have a $100,000 dealer surety bond. If you're only going to sell trailers, motorcycles, vehicles that are over 10,000 pounds, that's heavy equipment, dump trucks, semi-trucks, things like that, ATVs, boats, or snowmobiles, or limited use vehicles, then you don't have to have a surety bond. All bonds must be issued by a corporate surety that is licensed to do business within the state of New York, and the bond must reflect the exact ownership name or DBA that the dealership is using and the location that's listed on your application for your dealer license. And that bond must be submitted with the attached power of attorney. Now, first of all, is a bond going to cost you $20,000 or $100,000? No, absolutely not. I want you to be aware your bond is based on your credit score. And this will give you a general idea. This screen will give you a general idea of what your bond is going to cost. And you can see, with good credit there, for a $20,000 bond, you pay $100 a year. Even if you got really bad credit, like in the 500, say, for example, then your bond could be $1,200, but they do break this down and allow you to make that payment if your bonds are more expensive. You are required to hold a bond to ensure that you operate with a very, very high level of ethical standards. And I want to give you a quick scenario of when a bond could come into the play of your dealership. Let's say there's some old school unethical guy in the state of New York that gets his dealer's license and he sells 3 cars that have defective transmissions. And he didn't disclose those defects to the customers. Well, he's broken multiple state and federal laws. I mean, when you're aware of a mechanical defect, you are not allowed to sell that vehicle without disclosing the defects in writing. That would be breaking several state and federal laws. So let's say this old school dealer has sold these vehicles with defective transmissions and he didn't disclose those defects. Well, that's not tolerated, obviously. And more than likely, those customers are probably going to sue that dealer anyway. But as soon as the state finds out there's a New York dealer that's conducting fraudulent sales activity, that's not tolerated, and the state of New York will definitely revoke that license. What would happen after that? The crooked dealer sells all these defective vehicles. He's broke, he's bankrupt, doesn't have a penny to his name. How do those previous customers seek financial recourse? No matter how broke that dealer is, the customer can come back and sue that bond for $20,000 or up to $100,000 if you're one of the larger volume dealers. So what the bonds do, they do a couple of things. Number one, they protect consumers from the small handful of fraudulent New York dealers out there, but they also ensure that you operate with a very high level of ethical standards. So my very best advice for you, when you're selling a vehicle, tell a customer before the test drive everything you know about the vehicle. You might let them know that, this car's pulling left or heard some noise in the rear end, or, maybe let them know about that dent in the back left fender that they might not have noticed, and build credibility instantly with that customer. And you're going to see a lot of great things happen when you're brutally honest with all of your customers. You're going to see referrals. You're going to see repeat business. I think that you'll have entire families that will purchase multiple vehicles from you because they trust you. And your profits will be much, much higher because studies have actually shown when a customer trusts a dealer, they'll pay that dealer more for a vehicle. So think about that scenario. A customer is going to trust a lot more of an investment with you, the honest, ethical dealer, than they do that crooked dealer down the street that's lying to every single person that comes in the door. So I've been in this industry so many years. I can tell you from my experience, the dealers that make the most money are the most honest, ethical dealers. And, ethics and integrity will take you to the very top of the pinnacle of this industry profit-wise, and nobody's going to sue your bond because you didn't tell them about that defective transmission that you were aware of. So if you need to get a bond, I want you to be aware the association has built a bond quoting system for you. You can go to dealerslicense.com. Once again, it's dealerslicense.com. Just click on bonds that you see right there, and you can scroll down, click on New York dealer bond. And what the system will do is it will take your credit score and it will send it to the correct carrier based on your credit score. And this system hooks up with 30 different carriers. So it's going to find out the best carrier for your personal credit score. So you'll need to select the limit of your bond on that website, and maybe you're just getting the minimum $20,000 bond. You'll verify that is the bond that you need. And then you can go ahead and you enter your dealership name there, and then you select your business entity. It's pretty self-explanatory once you get onto dealerslicense.com. And you will, however, need to select that you are a new business because you're starting from scratch with your New York dealer's license. And then you'll enter your email address, contact information. And I want you to be very aware, to get a bond, you have to have a social security number because this system will do a real quick soft credit check. It will not affect your credit score, but you'll click continue. And if you like the bond price, it's going to pop up automatically on your screen. So I want you to be aware, this is what your bond is going to look like. And your bond is 2 pages, okay? The first page is your actual bond, okay? It's very important to realize that the bond must be signed, okay? So you do not want to submit your bond unless it's signed. A very common mistake is for somebody to submit a bond to the state and they didn't sign the bond. So be sure to sign your bond. The second page of the bond, as you see here, is what's known as the power of attorney, and it must be submitted as well. So please keep that in mind. Your bond and the attached power of attorney are going to be uploaded when you're ready to apply for your license. Once again, you can go to dealerslicense.com, click on bonds right there, and just scroll down to the New York bond quoting system. And it does take just a few moments for that to load, and that way you can get an association approved bond if that's helpful for you. Now, let's talk about workers' compensation. If you have employees, you will need a workers' compensation policy. You must complete a questionnaire at the official New York Workers' Compensation Board website. And it takes just a few moments to complete this pre-license step. You can go to the official New York Workers' Compensation website at wcb.ny.gov. They just need to find out if you're going to have employees and if you need to have a workers' compensation policy. So you're going to click at the very top link right there that says employers. And it is very important for any dealer to be aware of what's considered an employee. An employee by the state of New York is a person, including family members, who performs under their supervision, direction, and control of an employer, either on or off the premises. So this applies whether that worker is part-time, full-time, temporary, seasonal, casual, or day labor, leased, borrowed, unpaid, including volunteers and family members. Did you check that last one? Including volunteers and family members. So if your wife or son or daughter at the dealership helping you out and they're volunteering, that's considered an employee. But if you have any questions about workers' compensation, you can contact the Workers' Compensation Board directly, and they're going to be at 877-632-4996. For years and years, the state of New York has required every motor vehicle dealer in the state to purchase what is called a dealer starter kit. And a dealer starter kit includes what's known as a book of registry, which is going to be met when you enroll and verify, which I'll show you later on in your dealer training course. It's going to include your retail bills of sale, which are referred to as MV-50 forms, odometer statements, and by the way, ATV and boat dealers would be exempt, and warranty forms. ATV and boat dealers are exempt from warranty forms as well. I want you to be aware, it is a New York state law. You must purchase a dealer starter kit. And there's a few companies that you can purchase your New York dealer startup kit, including SNYADS services, as you can see here from their website. And that's their website, as you see, SNYADS-services. And you'll see right there on the front page. Another one is called NFADA, and they're at NFADAWD.com, as you see. And there's also a company called Clute Automotive Supply. And I'll just show you their website is cluteads.com. And then you also see here, this is a company called Reynolds and Reynolds, and they provided dealer supplies, including dealer forms for many dealers for many, many years. And you can see their website at rayray.com. And this is a company called ADS. I'm going to show you this company real quick. There you can see right on the front page of the automotivedealersupplies.com website is the New York State Retail Dealer Starter Kit, which includes your required sign, as we discussed a few moments ago as well. And their website is pretty easy to remember. It's automotivedealersupplies.com. So you can jump right on there and you'll be able to order your starter kit, including your forms, or if you just need to sign, you can order a sign if you need an additional sign later on or something like that. But please remember, you need the starter kit when starting out. This is a New York State law. So when you're ready to go ahead and order your New York starter kit, because you cannot get your dealer's license until you possess your New York dealer starter kit. And you can always go to your favorite search engine and type in New York Dealer Starter Kit to find a company that can provide you with your required starter kit as mandated by state law. And as you can see, there's several companies that can provide you with that starter kit. Once again, here are those websites. You can take a look on the screen there, and there's a lot of websites. If you go to the top one there, that's automotivedealersupplies.com, or just check any other of those websites out. Now, in order to apply for and receive your New York dealer license, you must provide some type of property documentation. If you own the property that you're going to use, you'll need to submit a copy of the deed, the mortgage, or the tax bill. If you rent the property, you must submit a lease or rental agreement and a copy of the deed, mortgage, or tax bill from the property owner. I want to repeat that little statement there. If you do rent the property, you've got to submit your lease or rental agreement, and you must have a copy of the deed, mortgage, or tax bill from the owner of the property. So you'll need to let the owner of the property know that you will need this before you lease a office from them, because this is a state law. They have to have that information as well. If you're subleasing, you must provide the lease and sublease along with a copy of the deed, mortgage, or tax bill from the property owner as well. If you have a pending lease, then you'll need to attach a notarized statement from the property owner that you have permission to sell motor vehicles upon issuance of a license. So with this being said, there are companies out there that will allow you to have what's called a pending lease. So you don't have to start leasing that until you are issued your license by the state of New York. Okay, so that's a really good regulation that I think is going to be advantageous to be aware of. I want to talk to you also about your on-site inspection. There's going to be a quick and easy step, what is called your on-site inspection. And this is one of the very final pre-license steps before your license is actually approved by the state of New York. You're going to be contacted by a New York State employee that's going to set up a time to do a very, very quick and easy and painless inspection of your location. The state basically wants to ensure that you do have a bricks and mortar location for your New York dealer license, and you're not just operating some company out of the cloud with no physical location. The state wants to make sure that your customers know where you're at after the sale. The inspector is known as an Automotive Facilities Inspector, or AFI. When the Automotive Facilities Inspector, or AFI, inspects your facility, the AFI will check that you have the following. You'll need your dealer starter kit, so be sure to order your dealer starter kit well in advance of the AFI arriving. Permanently mounted signs visible from the street. The AFI will deny your application if your signs are not clearly visible. You'll need a proof of ID, so that your driver's license or some type of other government-issued photograph ID for every person whose name is on the license. So once again, to obtain your New York dealer license, you must have a location with a display area for retail dealers. Wholesale dealers are exempt from that. You need a federal tax ID number. You need a New York tax ID number. You need to register with the Division of Corporations or possibly with the county, as we discussed a moment ago. You need your dealer surety bond. You've got to purchase that dealer starter kit, complete your dealer application documents, and then you'll have your license. In the rest of your dealer training course, we are going to cover several more training modules just like this one's. I'm going to show you how to submit your application correctly. We're going to do a deal where I'm going to take you through the whole startup process of where we go buy a vehicle, we're going to mark it up as high as we can and resell it And that's going to cover the New York Verify system, which is required to be used by all New York dealers. I will take you screenshot by screenshot through Verify and show you how to easily do your dealer sales reporting. I'm going to show you how to easily collect sales tax when you're selling motor vehicles. It's not complicated at all. I'm going to show you how easy that is to do. I'm going to show you how to order your dealer plates and how to legally use your dealer license plates, because you are going to be getting dealer plates here pretty soon, and the state does have strict regulations on those. And if you use your dealer plates incorrectly, they will take them away. So we've got a whole section later on in your dealer training course to show you how to easily and legally use your dealer plates. And I'm going to show you how to easily issue a New York temporary certificate. State's got rules and guidelines on that. So I'll show you how to issue temporary certificates on vehicles you've sold. I'm going to show you how to maintain your required records. And I'm also going to show you how to charge what can be very profitable New York dealer document fees. The state has strict guidelines on those. And I'm going to show you how to legally charge dealer document fees, which can add substantial profits to every single sale. I'm also going to show you how to avoid license suspension. So the state of New York, they can give it, but they can also take it away. So I'm going to show you exactly what could get your dealer license suspended from the state. I'm going to show you, when you've completed all these steps, I'll show you how to apply for your license correctly. We're going to start that process at their website. And I'm also going to show you a great dealer software program that I've been using. I'm going to show you how to run vehicle history reports. Dealer negotiation techniques is included in your dealer training course, so we can get the top dollar for your vehicles. We're going to cover profitable aftermarket products along with the best business entity. I'm going to show you how to export vehicles to other countries. We're going to talk about floor plans, SBA loans, and financing as well. So remember, you can enroll in the rest of the course at dealercourse.com. I really appreciate the consideration of you allowing us to be your dealer license training partner in the state of New York.